Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Under the Sun with Tony Iman. Thank you so much for letting me into your ears today. This feels so surreal. Like the fact that I'm sitting down and I'm saying those words, it feels so strange, but it feels so right. I'm so happy to be back. I mean, I'm stating the obvious here, but I have been gone for what feels like forever. It's been, I think, like 2 years. I don't even know, but it's definitely been too long. The podcast definitely got the boot in my life for a good amount of time, but I'm so grateful to be back here. And I really hope that you guys are having an amazing day or week, whenever it is you're listening to this. I hope that today has been good or you're looking forward to having a good day. Just reflecting as we usually do. Today is Sunday for me. I'm recording this on a Sunday. It's like 7 p.m. I am really hungry, but I feel like if I get food, I'm going to sit down with the show because I'm a little bit of an iPad kid and I eat and watch stuff or eat and read at the same time. Um, I feel like I'm just going to get way too comfy and I'm not going to record this episode. So I am going to use my food as reward for recording this episode. And so I'm here. I think honestly, this episode is not going to be about me recapping where I've been and all that fun stuff. Like I want us to catch up as we go along. I am aiming to be consistent this go around. We'll really see how that pans out. I'm not making any promises, but I am trying to set habits. I'm trying to start habits rather and set goals that are actionable and that I can actually commit to. So the podcast is definitely on my to-do list this year. It's something that I have missed, honestly, and it's something that I sacrificed but then got comfortable without. And I really think that this has been such a great medium for me to not only connect with you guys who listen, but also help me like rationalize my thought process and also help me think and journal and just like follow along with my brain, if that makes sense, at the different stages in life that I've been. But I am going to give you like bullet point kind of life update, just a little bit, nothing too crazy. I just think that it'll be beneficial for us to get to know each other baseline, considering I feel like if you're listening to this, you've probably already listened to the podcast before just because this is my returning episode. And I feel like those who have already been here are going to be like, well, I'm hoping anyways, that they're going to be like, oh, Mon's back, Tony's back, what's up? But if you're new here, which I also hope that you are, and that's okay, I hope more people get to listen to this. Again, I think it's just polite and appropriate for us to start somewhere. So yeah, I am in school. I've been in school for the past almost 4 years now. I'm a college student. I'm currently a senior and I'm in my last semester by his grace of college. I am studying economics and yeah, I do a bunch of stuff in my free time, but that's kind of my first job. My first job, first and foremost, is to be a student. It's been such a journey. I've learned so much in the past 2 years. I've accomplished so much. I have been a part of so much, and I have learned from and met so many amazing people. Sometimes I look at my life and I'm like, I can't believe this is my life. My mental health is better than ever. I would say I'm definitely I still struggle. I have dealt with really debilitating anxiety in the past, just like really, really like heavy stuff that sometimes I'm not even able to articulate or not even able to put my finger on. But I think I've come a long way. I feel like I'm in the best shape that I've ever been in my life. I recently got baptized, and growing in my relationship with Christ has dramatically impacted my mental health because understanding that Jesus loves me and that he died for me and he's made all these sacrifices for me and actually starting to trust who he is and his plan for me is such a game changer in terms of perspective. Because when it comes to things like anxiety, I mean, it really all starts from the mind and fear of the things we can't control. And knowing that I can relinquish my control and actively relinquishing my control to God and seeing how he moves in my life and makes everything work together for my good has just been the biggest blessing that I can always point to and be like, yeah, I see him so present in my life because of my state of mind, and I cling to him because I know that without him I would just be a complete mess. I'm hoping that I'm a way better person than I was a year ago. I was yesterday even. I'm hoping that I am continuing to get at least 1% better every single day. That is always the goal, to wake up every day, pick up my cross, and just try to be the best person that I can possibly be. Sometimes I'm not really actively thinking about it, but just because of habits that I'm trying to implement in my life, the way I'm trying to think about my life and the people around me and my interactions, like it all is towards getting better. So I feel like I feel better, and so maybe I am better. I don't know. I think it's really up to the people around me to really testify to that. But I will say that by virtue of the friendships that I am privileged to have and relationships that I'm privileged to nurture, I do feel like I'm again in one of the best spaces that I've ever been in my life. Yeah, what else can I say? I'm trying to think, like, what do you guys want to know? If you want to know the mundane stuff, like, what my favorite color is or whatever, like, I'm more than happy to do a get to know me. If I would say I'm pretty active on Instagram more than anything else. So I'd be happy to just kind of like take questions from you guys if you want to know anything in particular. I think I should also mention that I am 20 years old. I really don't know what to say when people say, oh, tell us about yourself. I never really know where to start or where to end, but I think that's a really good baseline. And again, I really want us to get to know each other through the season, through the episodes. I will continue to reveal, and I hope that you guys interact with me as much as possible. This is going to be uploaded to Spotify, and I will definitely try to put the sticker box, the question thing. So if you're listening on Spotify and you're able to, or you feel like you want to, talk to me in some way that is not necessarily social media, you just kind of want to get straight to the point within your app in which you listen to podcasts, wherever it is you listen. Spotify specifically has a space for that, so look out for it. But if you're like, I don't listen to Spotify or I don't have Spotify, you're more than welcome to find me on Instagram at I am Tony Iman. No space, all like small letters. And yeah, I should pop up and like feel free to shoot me a message. My profile is public. Yeah, that's a lot of words. I'm really nervous. I think it's just because I'm very rusty and I've been out of practice, so I'm not quite sure what to say or where to start. But weekly recap, that's something that I used to do and I think I should bring back because I don't think I've actually sat and thought about my week. So yeah, something else I feel like might be helpful to know about me. I am a resident assistant on my college campus, and this past week was RA training. So getting our building ready, reminding ourselves of why we do this job and how we can best support our residents and the students around campus. That was what training was all about. I got to build a bulletin board. I got to interact with my staff, watch people become so creative with limited resources, and just really hone in on those time management skills, and also really get to know how to work with others in a group setting. And I learned so much about myself and also about my co-RAs in this time. And that's definitely one of the peaks, I guess, of my week, is just being able to interact with my co-RA, specifically my RA staff. I think each and every one of them is so special and so impressive in the way that they handle things and the way they think about things. And I'm able to learn from them and really build community on my campus through them and how they impact the rest of the students around us. So that was definitely the highlight of my week. Other than that, I've been doing some ad hoc things, preparing for my first day of class, or trying to get into the mindset of school. Like, school is back. You need to get into your routine, figure out how you're going to attack this new last semester and show up as your best self. Another thing I've been really trying to prioritize throughout this week is movement. This episode, we're going to delve into movement quite a bit and really just talking about health and wellness. If you've ever listened to the podcast, we're still on this health and wellness journey. We're still on this exercising kick. We're still on that. But I think I've matured so much in the way that I approach. Ooh, sorry, my phone just fell. In the way that I really approach health and fitness and wellness and things like that. And we can get into that in a bit, but I did want to talk about my 2025 intentions / goals, whatever you want to call them. Like, if you treat your life as a company, these are the objectives. These are the things that we want to accomplish. These are how we're going to do it. I try to apply like a mindset of, this is what I want to accomplish within this time frame, and this is exactly how I'm going to get to do that. So I kind of want to go through that just to keep myself accountable and also just to remind myself, oh, this is where I was at. I love the Notes app so much. Everything goes into my Notes app. I have like 50,000 notes. Apologies if you hear my phone falling. I like have my notes in there, and so I propped it up on somewhere, but it's not staying up. So I should probably just hold it. But yeah, the reason why I do this every single year is because I feel like if I don't have stuff written down, I forget them, or I will just kind of forget my why behind the things that I'm trying to implement into my lifestyle, or I will just not have direction. I'm a big proponent of having like a plan and having a direction and being able to focus your energy somewhere, because I think that that helps you stay organized and that helps you stay focused and motivated and also disciplined, because you know exactly what you're fighting for. You know exactly how you're intending to reach these goals, implementing these habits into your life and making the good things that you see in other people's lives a lifestyle for you. So I write everything down. This year I've done something slightly different than what I've done ever before. But I just split up my year into Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, literally in quarters, like I am a company. Like Q1 is January to March, Q2 is April to June, Q3 is July to September, et cetera, et cetera. And so I've looked at the time periods and figured out, okay, where am I anticipating that I'm going to be in this point in my life? Here are the things that I want to accomplish. So first thing is start running at least twice a week. And again, we're going to talk about this a little later. I have started running. I got into running. My TikTok is all run talk, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. I love it so much. I love the TikToks, but not necessarily running. I'm not in love with running, right? Because it's really hard. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to go. And I live somewhere really, really cold. So it's not really the best weather, in my opinion, to get a good run in. But I have fallen in love with running as a way of moving my body and a way of clearing my thoughts and clearing my head and being able to challenge myself in a way that I have full control of. And so a goal of mine this Q2 is really just to have that be a more consistent practice in my everyday life. I figured 2 times a week is a really good place to start, considering I am a college student. I have jobs. I like to go to the gym. I like doing other stuff other than running. So I figured that baseline is a good way to start. But another way that I've pushed myself to really make this something that I'm committed to is by getting on a training plan. So if anyone's interested, the Nike Run Club app, I believe it's called, is so good. I highly recommend. It's great because you actually have someone coaching you through it. They have a lot of guided runs, which are really, really nice when you're not feeling like you know what you're doing, or you're a beginner, or you're just like super demotivated and you're just like running on fumes, literally, and you need someone to kind of like coach you through it, talk you through it. The Nike Run Club app is really, really good. And I believe it's free. Another thing in my Q1 is reviving the podcast, and I am doing it. And I will hopefully continue to do it. I really want to challenge myself to make this a priority and continue to show up and utilize this amazing privilege that I have to sit and talk for as long as I want and upload it into a world and in a country that, allows me to flex my free speech. Doing that. Reading my Bible at least 3 times a week. Ideally, I want to read my Bible every single day. I do try to interact with the word every single day, whether it's through like listening to a sermon or opening my Bible app, doing the little devotionals. But I really just want to delve into the Bible, have quiet times with God in prayer and in his word, intentionally creating space for that in my day at least 3 times a week. I figured that if I set a baseline, then that'll encourage me to build up. And honestly, the more I delve into the Bible, the more I enjoy reading it and the more I learn and the more I feel more like I feel more equipped each and every time to live life. And so that keeps me coming back every time, because I know that what I'm reading is really for my benefit. Like, I'm not doing God a favor. I'm really helping myself and helping other people around me, because I am able to show up as someone that can help them and love them as God has called me to love them. So it's all of those things. Another thing is to go to a concert. Really, really excited. I already have one lined up. I will be talking about it once I go. Yeah, that's on my list. Go to watch a movie at a cinema alone. Like, we're not going to go through the whole list. This is really just my Q1. And also note that Q1 is January to March. So like that is quite a lot of time to do a lot of things if you are committed and intentional about it. So like it's kind of a long list. I also want to go to watch a movie at a cinema alone. I've never done that, and ever since I went to concerts last year by myself and really just enjoyed doing things solo, I have really come to appreciate my alone time and being able to do activities by myself, even though I've always kind of thought, oh, I need to go with someone to have the full experience. Like, that is not necessarily the case. And I can have an amazing experience again because I'm by myself and I can do whatever I want. I can stay there for as long as I want. I'm in full control of my environment and I can create the vibe and I want to create. And also, free country, free will, who's going to stop me, you know? So that's something I want to do as soon as possible, quite frankly. Like, the school hasn't even started yet and I'm like, I need a day off. I need time to relax. Yeah, there's a bunch of other things, honestly, but I'm gonna stop there because I don't want this episode to be all about Iman's goals and intentions. It's not that kind of episode, but that's just some of the things that I've put on there. Honestly, I feel like as we go through episodes, we'll probably come back to the goals, like not every single one, but I'll update you. Like, if I'm like, oh, I accomplished something that I really wanted to accomplish this year, like, I'm going to celebrate that. I feel like I'm talking so fast. My heart rate is up. I am nervous. And this happens all the time. Every time I feel nervous, like, I just get heart palpitations and I speak super fast and I speak a lot. So, really trying to slow my heart rate down, tapping into the runner in me, like getting control of the pace. But yeah, another new fun and fresh fact about me is that I have started reading nonfiction. I used to be such a strict fiction girly. Like, the only nonfiction thing I would ever read was my textbook. And that's like, obviously, if I really, really needed to read that textbook, academic material and fiction only. That was kind of my vibe till 2025. In 2025, I am fully embracing the nonfiction genre, and I'm not really like a self-help person. Honestly, I feel like if you're looking for self-help, you should just read the Bible. But I do find that there is something to be found or taken away from, people who have delved into theories and delved into like what is like philosophies and being able to like articulate their thoughts in a really, really cool way. And just drawing from their life experiences and being able to share that wisdom. I'm not discounting that anymore. And so I've been getting into reading some nonfiction titles. I'm currently reading Atomic Habits, and I'm also reading a book on running. That has really helped me in my running journey. And I think that's another thing that really got me into nonfiction, is that if I'm really, really interested in something, I like to know as much as I can about it. And honestly, you learn the most through reading. It's like such a powerful way of being able to equip your mind and grow in your perspectives. But speaking of reading about running and just like trying to learn as much as possible about that version of movement, I really want to touch on and like how movement has changed my life, and also my utmost respect for athletes. If you're an athlete, like, please, I just want you to know that you're amazing, and your dedication to your sport is something that you should not take for granted and you should feel very proud of. Like, when I meet athletes, when I think about my friends or acquaintances that are athletes and the things that they're able to accomplish and how they show up every single practice, every single day, it's insane to me. But I also get it. In some ways, I feel like I'm a baby athlete just because how seriously I take my movement these days. Like, I'm always trying to figure out how to move my body. I'm always like I've been exploring like the gym and running and Pilates and just different forms of exercise and walking. I live in a city that's very walkable. Anytime I think about moving to another place, I'm like, is it a walkable city? Like, that's one of the first things that comes into my mind whenever I think of places that I might potentially want to move to, because you get to do these things that enrich you in such a tangible and physical way as well, is such a blessing. Like, it's such a privilege. And I couldn't be, again, more impressed by athleticism. I've been watching a lot of sports documentaries. I'm currently watching Sprint on Netflix, and it just goes through, like, track and field, the Olympics, all that fun stuff. But it's not just about the competition and, obviously the drama and how much tea is being shown behind all of these amazing events that hordes of people come to watch, or like sit on a TV at a certain time and sit to spectate on. But it's also just the tenacity, like, of these athletes, especially at such a young age. Like, they have committed themselves so fully to a sport, and has really pushed themselves to be the best in that sport. And that says a lot about them and just how deep their strength of mind is, because with a lot of movement and how it challenges you, it really is a mental thing. Our bodies are far more capable of, like, more than we actually think. I find that if I'm pushing to failure, I'm always able to do a bit more than I anticipated, or a bit more than I would have guessed that I could do, when I really, really, like, mentally resolve myself and I'm mentally stealing myself. Like, you got this, you can do it, push yourself. And I get that 1% better each and every time, each and every workout, each and every exercise, each and every run. You're getting better, marginally better, and it all adds up. And now that I've been going to the gym for a little bit over a year now consistently, my body has changed in ways that I didn't expect. And honestly, in some ways I wasn't necessarily happy about, but it wasn't even, and now, like, it's not even about the body anymore. Like, I feel like if you're really, really committed to exercising and working out and, finding ways to move your body, your physical goals start to take a back seat. Like, I actually want to hear you guys' opinion on this. And if you're somebody who works out a lot, like, I really want to hear perspective on this, because in my experience, I started going to the gym because I was really unhappy with the way my body felt and the way my body looked. I felt sluggish, I felt lazy, I felt sick. Like, I literally felt like, oh, I can't run up the stairs without feeling like I'm going to die. Like, I can't breathe right. I can't sprint. I can't do a lot of things without feeling extremely winded. I felt like my gait, like the way I walked, was just weird. I just felt really, really uncomfortable in my body, and I didn't really like how I looked. I was overweight and just, like, not feeling good within myself, like comfortable within my skin. And so I was like, okay, like, let's just start going, and hopefully I can build consistency, and then we can get to, like, the body goals, the gains, all that fun stuff. And over time, like, I've definitely gotten gains, and I've definitely built strength, but I feel so much more empowered and I feel fit. Like, it's always a joke whenever, like, my aunt needs to, like, bring in groceries or anything. I'm always like, nah, I can carry way more than you think because I got muscles now. Like, I'm always flexing on that, like, oh, I'm strong now. And it makes me feel so good knowing that I have that power and I did that. And so in that, it's not even been about the physicality of it. Also because, like, I didn't necessarily get the physique that I was aiming for. And honestly, now that I've matured in my, again, outlook on movement and working out and what that does in nutrition as well, I realized that a year sometimes is not enough to give you that dream build. Am I getting there? Yeah, I see that. Am I getting closer? I really hope so. But your progress with movement is not a linear thing. I feel like it yo-yos, and it also really just depends on a lot of factors that is not always necessarily in our control. Now, showing up, enjoying your training, being able to discipline yourself is definitely something within your control. It's really dependent on your vibe, and how much you apply yourself. But the results is not like the timeline in which you see specific things is not always dependent on that. Like it's not like an apples to apples. Again, you just have to show up. And I feel like a way to cope and not get super demotivated, or a way to not get super disappointed, is again to just begin enjoying your training and understand that movement is a privilege. It's something that should be a lifestyle, and it's not something that you need to do just to like drop weight like that, or to be like, oh, I want to have this type of body versus that type of body. Like changing the way you look at it to being something like, I get to do this. I love to do this. This boosts my mood. It makes me feel happy. I'm able to interact with my family in such a different way. I'm able to show up with my friends in such a different way because of this thing that I'm able to do, is what is going to keep you going. And that's what's kept me going. And it's really changed my life, not just in that sense, but also in the way I approach different areas of my life academically and even in my relationships. The way I prioritize movement, I have tried to like transfer that approach to my academic life, to my working relationships, to my jobs and things like that. And just think about it as I get to do this. Like I should be showing up, like bringing that same discipline. And it's proved to be so altering, not just of the way I'm performing, but the fact that I'm able to actually enjoy the process. Like I'm actually able to show up to class and not think about it as like, oh, I gotta be here for another 90 minutes hearing this professor drone on and on about this. But really, I get to be here. This is cool to learn about. This is gonna exponentially help me in this way. I'm increasing my knowledge, etc., etc. And it's also taught me a lot about prioritizing and time management. I can go on and on about this, and this is already like 30 minutes long. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I really do feel like movement has changed my life. And something that I'm really, really trying to be super intentional about this year specifically is not just being consistent with training and movement, but also being really intentional and knowledgeable about nutrition and what works for my body. Nutrition is something that I still struggle with. Sometimes I eat really well. Sometimes I neglect myself and I don't eat properly. Like I skip meals, or I eat the wrong things that don't affect my body positively. And I think that if I'm able to, now that I understand just how much movement and nutrition work in tandem, I think once I'm able to crack that code, handling my nutrition, the same diligence that I do with like the movement aspect, then I might be able to just soar over those goals that I may have put for myself. Also just start to feel even better in my body. Because the way I look at it is like, if the movement part has been able to make me feel so much better about my body and more comfortable in my own skin, imagine if I'm able to crack that code with nutrition. And so I want to challenge you as well to think about that this week and this year going forward. Like, how are you showing up for your body, and how are you being able to show up as your best self, and how are you treating your body? Another thing that compels me to prioritize taking care of my body is the Bible. I am a Christian, and again, like I said, I've really been trying to get into my word and being able to translate that into my lifestyle. And something that I read in 1 Corinthians 6 verses 19 really compelled me to take care of my body. And I'm reading the New International Version, and it says, "Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own." Verse 20, "You are bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies." Now, this emphasizes that our bodies are not our own, but belong to God, and we're responsible for caring for our bodies, because they are temples in which the Holy Spirit lives. And that relates to a lot of things. It relates to a lot of things other than physicality and movement and like exercise, but it is heavily tied to how we feed the body and how we take care of it and how we treat our bodies. And I feel like a way, of taking care of your body is making sure you're eating right, is making sure you're fueling your body the right way, is making sure you're making your body strong and equipped to handle whatever it is that your body might come against, whether it's sickness or diseases or just like your everyday life. Just being sure that you're fit is not just something that you do for aesthetics, but it's because we're called to do so, because our bodies are temples, and also because it's for God, but it's also for you. You benefit from making sure that you are prudent with the vessel that you've been given. So it's a lot of these things, and that's what really compels me and that has been motivating me each and every single day. Like, these are the things I think about, especially when I'm like lacking in the motivation / discipline department. So these are the things that I remind myself of. Like, it's bigger than I'm just going to do this. Sometimes, you can just look at it as something that, again, a privilege. You get to do this. It's fun. It makes you feel good. And why not? It doesn't hurt anybody. It certainly is helping, not hurting. And so that's something you want to indulge in. But again, finding your why and finding ways to enjoy your training will get you through the difficult times, because it's not all fun and games. Like, it's not always enjoyable waking up at the crack of dawn to get some movement in, because you have such a busy day and your work is pretty sedentary. And so you're not going to get as much opportunities to move your body as you would like. And so you have to make time for it some other time. It's not always going to feel pleasant, but your perspective is really, shifts the bar and makes all the difference. I hope that you enjoy this episode. My vision for this podcast is to be as transparent as possible. I like to typically keep it short and sweet, but if we, go on for a little longer, hopefully that's okay. I want to reiterate that, again, you can reach me on Instagram. You can reach out to me, send me your thoughts on this episode. Please keep it respectful. I love constructive criticism, but it's like heavy on the constructive criticism. We don't need to be rude in order to pass on, advice or correction and things like that. I am open to it as long as we're all being respectful. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to me. All this information will also be in the description. Like, if you're just like, I don't remember what you said or I didn't catch that, you can look out for all my links and stuff in the description. And feel free to also pop into the Spotify box if you're listening on Spotify and talk to me about your perspectives on this topic. How have you been able to show up for yourself? If you have any tips for me, if you have any nonfiction recs, I'd love to hear them. I'm in the market for some more books to read and to query. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed week ahead. Talk to you later. Bye.